Procter & Gamble uses Facebook to provide random acts of kindness to their customers and followers on Facebook. A nice example they have is a woman who is an American and who had always used, this might sound silly, but always used Secret deodorant, was transferred to do her job in Spain. And when she got to Spain, she was not able to get Secret deodorant. And I guess she made a post. She posted something on Facebook to say, any suggestions on how I might be able to get Secret deodorant? I'm in Spain. Well, Procter & Gamble was all over it. They noticed and recognized that they don't sell the deodorant in Spain, and that due to certain laws and policies, they couldn't ship any Secret deodorant directly to her. So one of their executives, who was traveling to Italy for work, took over with him several deodorant sticks. And then when he got to Italy, he mailed them to her address in Spain, and she was really thrilled about that. So they used Facebook to pay attention to the needs of their customers and react with a random act of kindness. KLM Airlines, KLM that is, Airlines, which is a Dutch-based airline company, also follows social media. They use Foursquare. So anytime one of their airline customers, someone who happens to be flying that day, checks in, they encourage their clients to check in on Foursquare when they're at the KLM lounge area or waiting areas, wherever they may be. When they check into Foursquare, they then follow the types of things that people are saying. And there was a nice example. There was a gentleman who was traveling from Amsterdam to New York City, and while he was very excited to be going to New York City, he was very disappointed that he was going to miss what they call a football match, what we in America, North America, call a soccer match, but he was going to miss a very, very important soccer match. So what KLM did, they monitored his posting, and they then had somebody at the airport that worked for KLM take him a package that had in it a copy of Lonely Planet New York, and had highlighted the pages that showed where European travelers could watch football, soccer, in New York City, so that he did not necessarily have to miss the game and could still be really excited about his travel to New York City. I also very much like what WeThins does. WeThins has a blog. They follow postings on a blog. And they actually, when people say, there was a woman who said, I'm out of my WeThins, I can't live without my WeThins, they actually delivered an entire van load on a pallet of WeThins to her home so she would not run out of WeThins again. So it's really nice that there's all kinds of people jumping into customer loyalty and engaging their customers through random acts of kindness. And if there's any question as to whether or not random acts of kindness are important to us, there are actually websites out there with lists and ideas of things that you can do for random acts of kindness. Of course, there is a website called randomactsofkindness.org. So this is something to get on the bandwagon with and start to find ways that you can reach out to your customers and provide them with a really human experience from you to them. To go with that random acts of kindness and this being a kinder, more compassionate, more type of socially conscious consumer world, here's some more statistics that I think could further expand on this. This is for the age group of 13 to 25-year-olds. 61% of 13 to 25-year-olds state that they feel personally responsible for making a difference in the world. Older generations would have higher percentages of people saying somebody else will do it. There's a company, there's an organization, there's somebody else to do it. It's not my problem. 61% of this youth-based generation is saying, yeah, I'm personally responsible. I've got to do something to make a difference in the world. 81% have volunteered in the past year. 69% consider, this is very important, 69% consider a company's social and environmental commitment when deciding where to shop. 83% will trust a company more if it is socially and environmentally responsible. So this is a very important thing to do as well, in showing your human side. This is a fine line we walk here, and what I'm suggesting. I would never want to suggest to you that you should go out and work at a soup kitchen so you can get business. There's an ingenuine spirit there that is counterproductive and, again, is sometimes hard to hide. So I think it's more important to reach deep down inside and see if this is something, a behavior that you want to exhibit corporately for the genuine good of making a difference. There are all types of charitable campaigns that you could participate in. We've been doing it at unique venues for years, and we never did it. I never realized it was going to be a trend. It was just something we did from the soul of the company. Examples such as, eliminating sending out holiday greeting cards to our customers, because we could take all of the money that we spent doing that and put it into something charitable like, Oxfam International or Make-A-Wish Foundation or the American Red Cross or the Canadian Red Cross or the whatever. So we chose to reallocate those funds to giving on behalf of our clients at the holiday season, as opposed to sending yet another card that you would receive. But we've also taken that further with going to trade shows, and rather than spending a lot of money on tchotchkes and swag that really doesn't do anybody any good, how many pens can you amass, and how many lip balm sticks can you amass, and how many paperclip holders can you have? What we do instead is encourage people to stop by our booth and talk with us about our product, and for each person that does, we pick a local charity in the city that we're at for the exhibit, for the conference, and we make a donation to that charitable organization. For instance, in Tampa, we did I believe it was Feed America Tampa when we were there for RCMA, and we used another group that helped homeless people be trained for jobs in Chicago when we were there for another conference. And so it gave people the opportunity to give without actually having to give, but just their ability to come and talk with us made them givers as well. So it's something you might want to consider doing, looking at some charitable campaigns. Choosing where to give, people really like that you look at environmental groups, groups that help with the masses or in a crisis. For instance, the Japanese earthquake victims, or the victims of the tornadoes in the southeast recently, or whatever it might be, that giving to the masses, or anything that has a local human interest, a devastating fire, or a local kids organization, or a local shelter, is something that you might want to take a look at in getting involved that way. So now those are very warm, very soft, very soulful, human-oriented trends that you can react to and respond to as a product in working with meeting planners and working with potential clients. I'm going to kind of turn the tide now, and I want to talk about something more businessy, more foundational, more hardcore, and that's pricing and the money that people are willing to spend on your product. I mean, there's a real hype happening in the world these days when it comes to pricing. Very rarely do people ever pay a quote-unquote rack rate for anything these days, because there's too many ways for people to have incentivized pricing. Even Walmart, the big giant Walmart, is getting in on it. If you watch the commercials that they run on television now, they will match or beat pricing from any competitor, and they're actually advertising it now. And all you need to do is take something that shows somebody at the checkout counter that you can get at $10 less, and they have to give it to you. But that's still a little bit old school. Let's talk about this pricing hype just a little bit more.